Subway robberies are on the rise in New York City, despite a huge drop in ridership. According to the NYPD, the month of March saw more than a 50% rise in robberies compared with March 2019. And so far this year, there was more than a 70% rise in robberies in January through March. The MTA has reportedly hired 70 contracted security guards as extra eyes and ears throughout the city transit system. Joining me now, former NYPD Sergeant Joe Jackalone. Joe, welcome back to Chasing News. How are you?
Good, Bill. How are you?
The fact that there's a higher number of robberies and so fewer riders, what does that tell you?
Well, it could be a couple of things. It could be the fact because we're on quarantine, there's a lot of kids out there with nothing to do. That's something that has to be looked at. You also have criminals who always do what they always do, looking for that opportunity. And the third thing that we should be concerned about is that there were so many cops out sick that they didn't have enough personnel to cover the trains because the ridership was so low, and maybe somebody cut them back because now we're talking even about bringing the National Guard into the subway. That's how bad things are getting.
This is not really new. Even before the pandemic, we had a rise in the small crimes because prosecutors were not prosecuting a lot of these quality of life crimes. Do you think that led to part of this?
Well, it definitely has to be factored into it. So how many people we've let out in bail reform? They've been arrested and released, and then the criminal justice reform about letting people out early. Then during all this quarantine and the COVID crisis, we let a lot more prisoners out. So that has to be a factor.
How do you feel about the idea of hiring these private security guards?
Private security, is not the way to go, especially in the subway. The subway could be a real terrible place for certain people. The problem is that the personnel is at a low, probably maybe an all-time low in the New York City Police Department. They didn't have apparently enough equipment to keep them safe, and now you're dealing with the consequences of that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you coming on. Talk soon.